There are two starship designs, right, which I don't like. Now, just to preface this, right, this is just a personal opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. Okay, so before anyone goes in the comments and starts going, you just hear me out. So I'm going to outline what bothers me about these two designs, right? The first one is Discovery. And the second one is the Enterprise F. Now let me get into the Enterprise F first. The Enterprise F is a Odyssey class starship, right? I think originally seen in Star Trek Online, but then we got a real look at it in Picard Season 3. But I was looking at the Enterprise F, right? And a couple of things occurred to me. First of all, the evolution of starships into this sort of sleek sports car aerodynamic type of look, which started with the Enterprise E. The first thing I wanted to look at was aerodynamics. Like the original Enterprise and the movie Enterprises, they were sleek. They weren't exactly like slicked down sports cars. They were just sleek. And the kind of aerodynamic design doesn't really matter in space. Exhibit A. Exhibit B. Exhibit C.
We're not alone.
Exhibit D. Exhibit E. Exhibit F. Miss Red Dwarf. And so on. Like when I first came out of Space Dock, it looked like it was struggling and needed to go to the gym. It's just a really big, clunky mass with this big negative space above the engineering section. Now, I looked up somewhere that negative space is supposed to help it with transwarp tunneling or blah, blah, blah. The whole thing looks really cumbersome and over-designed. Now, I've no doubt it's incredibly powerful and it's able to do all sorts of things, like detach its saucer section. It's got a detachable shuttlecraft thing that pops out the back of it. But the symmetry of the ship is all wrong. And the defining characteristics of the ship aren't really nice to look at. It's really long at the top. The nacelles are fine. It's really long at the top. And then it kind of has this big bulging midsection. What I do like about it and what I saw online is the bridge. I like the bridge, and I'm going to contrast it to the Discovery bridge in a second. But I like the bright TNG-esque carpeted layout of the bridge. But the problem with it is it harkened back a little bit to the copy and paste nonsense ships we got in, was it Picard Season 1? But I've tried to block out both those seasons from my brain. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the You see, as starship design evolved post First Contact, they seemed to just focus on go faster stripes type of design. There's like jutting out little pieces of hull, and they got bigger in the bottom, and it lost its really iconic form factor, which I think they should have left in. Like personally, I really like the Enterprise J. I think that was a nice evolutionary design road that they should have gone down. The saucer section is nice and symmetrical against the nacelles, and I think it's a really cool ship. But the Enterprise F does nothing for me at all. I think it's a big hot mess. The second ship is Discovery. Now, I think Discovery was based on an original sketch for the Enterprise 50 years ago. But the problem I have with, there's two problems I have with Discovery. First of all, symmetrically, it's all over the place. The saucer section is too small for the length of the nacelles out the back. And I remember when Discovery was coming out and they showed the ship, I was instantly like, ugh. Like, it's not a nice ship. The nacelles of Discovery are way too long. And the saucer section is this like little nubbin on top of it with all this negative space, which makes no sense. Because if you're in the outer ring of Discovery, to get to the inside ring, you've got to run all the way around a quarter of the ship and then leg it down one of the little corridors and then run all the way back. It makes no sense. The saucer section makes no sense. And then you've got this triangle-y, weird engineering, probably living quarters section in the center. And it's just a ugh. It just seems to me that it doesn't know what it wants to be. Now, I didn't make it past season 2 of Discovery. I followed the discourse and watched a lot of clips and stuff. And I know by the end of it, they had detached nacelles, which made no sense. Why would you want to take the nacelles off the ship and have them floating next to it? It was just, oh God, why did... The evolution of design and their nanotech or whatever, so that they could detach pieces of the ship and have them free floating outside the ship, is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. My second problem with Discovery is the bridge. The bridge is huge. Like, the bridge in Discovery is absolutely enormous.
This is Captain Christopher Pike of the USS Discovery.
You have taken what belongs to us.
What have we taken exactly?
The captain. Starfleet.
The distance from the captain's chair to the con station and the distance from the con station to the view screen, it's the size of a warehouse. Like, for captains to give orders on Discovery, they're like shouting at con, you know? Going, let's go to warp! And like, what? Warp! Now, it's just an opinion. It's not a hot take. I just personally don't like those two ships. So yeah, this isn't a commentary on the shows, just the ship designs. There's loads of ship designs I really like. Some of them are a bit weird. But the two lead ships, I think, should have been maybe revisited to give them something a little bit different, but at the same time maintaining a nice aesthetic design flow would have been nice. Yep. This one might be divisive.